Hey everyone, it's Anne at Steel City Scented, where we discuss artsy, weirdo, vintage, indie, and artisanal perfume. If you like those, you are in the right place. Thank you for joining me again sincerely for another fragrance freestyle. We are going back to 1981 for a fragrance by the house of Max Factor. It comes in a little bottle like this if you want to mini. I put it into a sprayer, and it is called Epris. And this is the Parfum version. There's also an eau de toilette version that I have upstairs. I'll do a comparison someday of quite a few Max Factors, but for today we're just getting the EDP. So per normal cadence, we'll go through the house history, although I'll tell you, I did a lot of research today, more time than I probably should have spent, trying to find an actual house history and how this fragrance house has exchanged hands over the years. I could not find anything that was clear, excuse me, about really any business transactions, except for the fact that nowadays, unfortunately, Max Factor perfumes are not sold in the US. Their cosmetic products are sold sporadically on Amazon, but they pulled out of the US market in 2006 because they cited low market share. So let's go over a brief house history, and then we'll go over the notes, how this fragrance is. Comparables, again, there are none, unfortunately, and really where I'd wear this. So let's jump right in. So Max Factor as a house is probably better known for their cosmetics than perfumes, depending on, excuse me, the era in which you live. So they were founded in 1909 by a gentleman called Maximilian Faktorowicz, and he really did a lot of cosmetics for Hollywood. So we can thank him for things like false eyelashes, big lipstick. He did, really lots of famous people like Judy Garland from Wizard of Oz, amongst others. Flexible grease paint, again, false eyelashes, eyeliner, lip gloss, pancake makeup, which is, they come in really thick sticks right now. It's basically thick as a foundation. And he's the one that actually started the makeup word versus cosmetics. So again, we'll thank this gentleman for that. Makeup word versus cosmetics. And again, I can't find when he started making fragrance. But it says that Max Factor was a family business in 1973 when they sold to a group called Norton Simon, and apparently they actually released the first Halston fragrance, so I have to do some research about that too. But in 1983, Norton Simon was bought by S-Mark, which is a food company, and then they merged with Beatrice Foods another year later, and then they wrapped up in the Playtex Beauty division, and then they also acquired a group called Eden Classics Perfume at some point. They're all Jean-Louis Swisac, all the Eden Classics, and basically Eden Classics takes vintage perfumes and re-releases them, but they're not available in the US. Sadly, it's all the UK. But then it says Playtex Beauty Division was bought by Revlon 86. Excuse me, the Revlon sold Max Factor to Procter & Gamble in 91. And there's some few things that happened after 1991. So, whatever. You can get some Max Factor perfumes on eBay, not the full line. If you look on Parfumo, this is where it gets confusing. Fragrantica says Max Factor only has 11 perfumes. If you go on Parfumo, it says they have 143. Now, the caveat is, like I mentioned, they were wrapped up into other fragrance houses. So if you look on Parfumo, there's things by Dana, there's things by, let's just say, other fragrance classics. So again, they list 143, but they're not all just Max Factor releases. So I prefer really knowing house history a little bit better, but we don't, so we move on. Okay, so let's talk about Epris. So this is released in 1981. They don't say who the perfumer is, which is a bummer because this is awesome. So in the top, you get Lily of the Valley, Mimosa, Rose, and Ylang. So I have like a 2-hour dry down on my hand, and then like a 20-minute dry down on my arm. So when you spray this though, it's odd because it's not the sillage is not huge on this fragrance, but when you spray it, oh my God, can you smell it? Like, holy crap. So your nose will pick out different florals based on what your nose is akin to smelling or what your olfactory receptors really smell the most. I have allergies. It's allergy season, yay. So when you spray it, it's like rose and lily and a little bit of ylang. And that stays probably for about a half an hour, which is surprising. But the heart is so beautiful. So it's basil, carnation, clove, and coriander. All spicy. So you go from beautiful floral to spicy, and it is awesome spicy. Like, it's really great. And the base notes settle into amber, moss, and woods. But the woods are sandalwood, right? So on my hand now, it's this quiet amber and sandalwood. And someone on Parfumo compared the dry down to Guerlain Samsara Extrait. I don't have the Extrait, I only have the Parfum, so I'm not quite sure if they meant Parfum or Extrait. I want to compare these two in the dry down for this reason. Someone also recently compared on YouTube Avon Candid to Samsara, and I don't get that one, so I want to do that one for myself because that intrigues me. In the base, she said they were very similar. Candid is a sandalwood fragrance with a lot of florals. Don't get the Samsara either, but back to Epris. So it is just, the mids remind me of an 80s men's fragrance. So I know that Koros is spicy, it's not really, I'm sorry, not spicy, but got some floral. The mid reminds me of Koros for some reason. Just what my nose is interpreting. And it just, it's so beautiful. Yeah, so right now, it's still in the floral stage. But again, when I was walking my dogs earlier and it was a little bit warm, I can't remember how, being this impressed by the mid notes of this fragrance. So anyways, regardless, comparables, again, there's nothing that I can even think of that's got a floral heart, such a spicy mid, and then dries down to what I perceive, it's amber, moss, and woods. But the sandalwoods were most, and the base really, what predominated the dry down of this to me before the sandalwood was moss. So it smelled like, again, a vintage 80s or 70s men's fragrance, more so than a female fragrance. But the balance of the notes, like, it's really beautifully blended. So again, I wish I knew who the perfumer was. I would give them kudos. But it's just, again, an amazing choice. Again, not a huge powerhouse because you'll smell it close to skin, but I don't smell it here, right? And I'm not even an arm's length away. I'm maybe 6 inches away. But on your skin, it's really, really nice. It's performing actually, so I have an attar from Sultania Aromas on here, and it sits to my skin close to an attar. So again, absolutely stunning. So where would I wear this? I would wear this honestly anywhere. And I think in the heat, it's going to really be an amazing experience, an amazing journey now. I think you can still wear it in the winter. And I do think it's genderless. So although it's listed as a female fragrance, if men or people identify as men are okay with florals, it's fine. If you define as non-binary or whatever, no gender, you could definitely wear this. I think males, females, however you identify, definitely something you could add to your collection. And like how, really, it just is very comforting for me because my preference for fragrance really does lie in vintages. I'm really finding myself not drawn to any of my, I shouldn't say any, a lot of my new artisanal stuff for sure, a lot of my new indie stuff. It's really not doing it for me recently. So I'm not gonna get rid of all of them, but a lot of them. And again, this kind of stuff is just what really has my heart and a special place for me. I'm not even sure why, because again, I have no positive associations with this fragrance, but it's really beautiful. So I hope you check this one out. Again, there is an EDT version. This is the Parfum version, these little guys right here. You can get them cheaply on eBay, like 15 bucks, and it's 4 mls, but yeah, it'll last you a while. So again, consider Max Factor Epris if you want something a little bit off the beaten path, floral, spicy, beautiful dry down. I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Be well. Bye.